Ethiopia is in many respects a crucible of all of the issues that the Food and Land Use Coalition is concerned about. Rural livelihoods, agricultural productivity, food loss and waste, sustainable, healthy, nutritious diets, and the protection and restoration of the natural world. And really, since the very beginning of the Food and Land Use Coalition, we've been very proud about the platform here in Ethiopia that dozens of Ethiopian experts and organisations have contributed to, and which culminated in the publication today of the Action Agenda. The Action Agenda sets out a view, a vision, just as the Global Report has a vision of a better future for the world's food and land use system. The Ethiopian Action Agenda sets out how in this wonderful country this country could deliver better agricultural growth, better food and diets for the Ethiopian people, and the protection and restoration of the remarkable natural environment in this wonderful country. So the Action Agenda comprises economic analysis of the work that's already underway in this country, and it comes forward with a number of recommendations about what additionally Ethiopia could do in the years ahead to deliver a more prosperous rural economy for its people. We had a very favourable response. I should say the event was chaired by our very own Wanjira Mathai, head of WRI Africa, Vice President of WRI. There was a really strong, enthusiastic response to the recommendations in the report, and also to the way that the Global Report speaks to some of the challenges that this country faces, and has also been informed by the work here in Ethiopia. So it was a favourable response. The National Planning Commissioner opened the meeting, and she emphasised something which I think is very important, which is that her Prime Minister Abiy, and his cabinet are very committed to an integrated response to the issues discussed during this morning. You cannot treat nutrition, agriculture, environment, planning in silos. It doesn't work. What you need is a whole of government response to this most central issue of our times: how to feed a world of 9 billion people, or in this country a population of 110 million people, whilst at the same time protecting and restoring the natural world on which we depend. FOLU would love to work in other African countries where there is a desire and a willingness, and where we feel we can add value. We're looking at a number of countries. In discussion with Wanjira this morning, we were contemplating FOLU Kenya and what that might look like. Rwanda has certainly expressed an interest. And then perhaps most importantly in this great continent, there is the very significant challenge, but also opportunity, of delivering a better food and land use system for the countries of the Congo Basin. Because there too, these issues find powerful expression. And if we could find, or if we could support that region to embark on delivering a food and land use system which could feed its people, but at the same time protect those rainforests in that region, which underwrite the resilience and sustainability of the entirety of the food and land use system across the continent, including in this region, in the east of Africa, that would be very powerful. So we're in discussions with a number of countries, but we would love to work more in Africa if we can. If a country is serious about the nutrition of its people, about the need to deliver better agriculture, and at the same time to protect and restore the natural environment, that country might find value in engaging with the Food and Land Use Coalition because of the way it has sought to broker or bring about a more integrated systemic approach to these issues which have historically been dealt with in isolation. They may also find that the coalition's focus on economic analysis is of value. The Food and Land Use Coalition was born out of the new climate economy, and our thesis and our theory of change is that it is really fundamental to show the economics of a better food and land use system. In Ethiopia, there are many millions of young people living in rural areas who are suffering from underemployment or unemployment. If we cannot demonstrate that a new food and land use economy would generate better jobs for those young people, then we shouldn't be here. And so, in a sense, our offer, our hope, is that we can do the economics and the analysis which substantiate the moral case, which we're all very clear about, for addressing the food and land use challenges of the day. It does. It demonstrates, for example, that more productive agriculture and more innovative, digitally informed supply chains which link producers to consumers and better extension services, reduce post-harvest food and loss and waste, investments in those policies and others, better livestock and milk production, would generate more jobs, better jobs in the countryside. But also, frankly, if you protect and restore the forests of this great country, as the Prime Minister and his government are very committed to doing, that also generates employment for the long term. So there is there's quite a lot of economic analysis in the action agenda, just as there is also in the global report. I would like, as a result of today, for, in this country, three things really to happen, or to continue to happen. The first is the high-level political focus on food and land use. We've seen that in the Prime Minister here and his government. The second is national land use policy and planning. This country is embarked on a very detailed national land use policy and plan. We understand that that's due to come out soon. And we really think that's incredibly important to govern and to suggest ways in which the country can do agriculture in the right way in the right places, protect critical ecosystems, and also ensure that urban expansion is done in such a way as not to prejudice better agricultural production. But the third thing is also for real action on the ground from the bottom up now. There are amazing things happening in this great country, just as there are across Africa. And really, this is a hotbed for innovation and action. A number of the Food and Land Use Coalition ambassadors from Ethiopia are really distinguished social entrepreneurs who are doing wonderful things. So I think political will from the very top, and where better than in this country where the Nobel laureate PM Abiy has already shown such commitment. National land use policy and planning, and then real action from the bottom up, just as we've seen in Ethiopia for many decades. Honestly, if FOLU could play its part in Ethiopia and elsewhere in the world over the next 3 years and more in delivering better lives for young Ethiopians of all ages across this whole country, working on the land, more dignified lives, better access to finance, better agriculture, greater resilience to the changing climate, better nutrition, I would be very proud and happy.